Hello everyone, it's me Butterfly Spirit 314 and I am back with another video. I just want to make sure I'm recording here just so that I know that you guys are seeing what I have here. So in today's video, we are going to talk about how to find a house for rent. So we're going to talk about where to look for a house for rent, where you want to live, how much you want to pay, the type of house you want to live in, how many bedrooms you want, the type of landlords are out there, how to express interest in a rental home. We're going to talk about you having your questions ready when you go and look at a rental. And then I'm just going to give you guys a brief explanation of the rental process for a house that I went through, okay? So these are all the things we're going to go through, okay? And we're gonna go through them one at a time just in case I just like ran through that and you guys are like, I don't know what she's talking about. Okay. So let's go back and start again. So, how to find a house for rent. So, the first thing that you need to know, if you know you want to rent a house, the first thing is you need to know where to look to find houses for rent. If you drive through your neighborhood, then you may find that there are not any houses for rent. And you might be convinced that there are no houses out there to rent and that all the houses out there are only available for sale. But that's not true. There are houses for rent. You just have to know where to look. Okay. So a place that I went to find houses that are for rent, and I'm going to show you, is that I went to Zillow to find the house that I now rent at this point in time. Another place that you can go is you can go on Facebook and you can look on the Facebook Marketplace for houses for rent. It can be a little tricky when you're looking for a house for rent on Facebook because there doesn't seem to be a lot of selection from my own personal opinion. And some of the houses that are on Facebook have kind of been on there for a while, so you don't know if somebody has rented out those places or not, in my opinion. You can also look for a house for rent on Craigslist as well. So you can go on Craigslist, and I can kind of show you guys on Craigslist how to find houses for rent, just so that you know. Okay. And then another place where you can look with respect to trying to find a house for rent is you can drive around the neighborhood that you want to live in. Who knows, for the neighborhood you want to live in or in the city you want to live in, you may be able to find one or two rentals out there, but really, if you look online, you will find that there's a lot more rentals out there. So driving around can have its benefits sometimes, but most of the time, I would say it's better to kind of go online and look. If you were looking for an apartment, you might find that there's more apartments out there for rent than maybe houses available, depending on the kind of area you're looking in. Because if you're looking in a really great area, it might be hard to find a house. Or if there's a house that's for rent, that house goes off the market really fast because somebody saw it, they wanted it, and they put in an application and they got that house before you can get it. Yes, looking for a house is very competitive, especially if you're going to be looking for a house. If you're going to be looking for a house in the spring or in the summer. In the summer, I read this article and I was told that in this article that if you're trying to get a house in the summer, it's very hard because that is moving season. That's when people are, have the time to look. Their kids are out of school and they're looking to move into a house. And most of the time, if you're looking for a house in the summer, the price of the houses are going to be high because the demand for the houses are going to be high too. So there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be fighting over houses. If you look for houses for rent specifically like in the winter time or in like the springtime, you might manage to have a better choice of getting a house. For me, I managed to score a house in the springtime in March is when I got approved to rent the house that I'm in with my fiance. And so I would say spring could be a good time, but you need to start looking for a house well before it's time for you to move. Okay. I'm going to say this again. You need to look for a house well before the time it is for you to move. Now, I get it. Some of you guys may be saying that, oh, well, I move out in the summer. Why should I start looking earlier than that? because the earlier you start looking, the more things you're going to start to learn about houses that are out there in the market, so you can know whether or not you're getting a good deal or not for a house. Okay, so I just want to share that with you guys. Okay. Okay, another thing. There are other rental websites out there that you can look on for houses that are available in the area you want to be in. Okay, so again, places you can look for a house, you can look on Zillow, you can look on Facebook Marketplace, you can look on Craigslist, you can drive around the area you want to live in or city you want to live in, or you can look on rental websites. And another way to find places to rent is that you can ask around and ask friends or family if they know any places for rent. And they might be able to tell you, oh, yeah, I saw this place for rent here and I saw this place for rent there. That's what I found when I was looking for a place to rent. Um, my dad was telling me that there were some places for rent around where he was, but that wasn't in the area where I wanted to live at. So I just kind of disregarded what he was saying. But who knows? You might find a family member who finds a house in that desirable area that you want to be in, and they might tell you about it, if they're not looking for a place themselves. Okay? Because you might be competing against friends or family to get a particular rental if they're looking to rent a place as well, specifically a house. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at looking for a house to rent on Zillow. Okay? I don't just want to tell you about it, I want to show you. I will try to keep this video somewhat short. So I'll look into showing you where to find houses for rent on Zillow and houses for rent on Craigslist, and we'll just kind of go through it from there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to start off with Craigslist here and then Zillow, because I think Zillow is gonna be where I'm gonna want to spend my time at. Okay. All right, so let's go to Craigslist. I know I already have Zillow. So let's go to Craigslist. Now, I understand you guys, Craigslist does have somewhat of a shoddy type of nature for people, and they don't trust Craigslist. But I found out Craigslist is a great place to look for some cheap rentals if you're trying to get a house or an apartment. That's what I heard. So that's why I was looking here when I was trying to find a house for rent. I also looked on Craigslist when I was looking for an apartment to rent as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can find what we're looking for. And make sure I'm still recording here for you guys. Ooh, I'm still recording. Good. Okay, so let's try to see if we can find a place for rent. So if you're going to look on Craigslist for a house to rent, it's not front and center for you to see where to look. Okay, it's not. You might be thinking, okay, I look for sale, but you're not going to find it there. You're not going to look in the jobs area here, and you're not going to find it over here in community. I mean, you may, but who knows? But another thing about Craigslist is when you type in Craigslist, Craigslist is going to go by the city that you live in, and then from there, it's going to kind of give you results there. Okay. As you can see on the side here, Craigslist has another other cities here that are closer, that are far off away from me by a distance and stuff. But I would just say look based off the city that you're in. Look on that Craigslist website. I'm not going to say you can't look in other cities for places to live, but I would just say start off in your own general area just to get some kind of idea of the type of houses that are available. So where you look, and I'm trying to think here, you look under housing, and you'll see apartments, housing, housing swap, housing wanted, um, office, commercial, parking, storage, real estate for sale, rooms shared, rooms wanted, sublet, temporary, vacation rentals. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to look under, if my memory serves me right, you're going to look under apartments, housing. Yay! Works. So you're going to look under apartments, housing. Now, you're not just going to look from this list. I mean, if you go down this list, there's tons, as you guys can see, there's tons of results here of places and things like that. And you can kind of get overwhelmed. I mean, look down here, it says 1 to 150, and there's 300,000 in total. So there's a lot going on. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to tell you guys that you want to filter your results. Okay. You definitely want to do that here on Craigslist. So I'm going to show you guys how to filter here so you can look for what it is you want to find here so you can be good. Okay. So let's show you here. So if you're going to be looking for a house, first thing you want to do is you want to be on this side here. And Craigslist lets you filter by different things, by search titles only, whether the listing has an image, if it's posted today. I don't know what bundle duplicates is or include nearby areas. I'm not too sure about that. One of the things is I know you want to make sure if you're looking for a house has to have an image, so you want to have that checked, and you notice Facebook refreshes itself. Okay. And then another thing, if you're looking for a house, because you notice that there's apartment listings up here. Another thing you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to specify the type of housing type. So to find the housing type, you're going to go down here, and you're going to go down to house. Okay, you're going to click house. You're going to click house because you want a house for rent. Okay, and then I don't believe it says if you want to say like for rent or everything or something, whatever. So here's availability. Sorry guys, again, I got tied up with my words here. You can check availability. I didn't choose that when I was looking for a place to rent. I just chose house an image and house under housing type. Remember guys, you have to scroll down here to housing type. Housing type is not up here, it's down here. And you have to remember that for housing type, you have to click this housing word here, and then it's going to bring down this arrow, and you're going to click the box for house. Okay. Then you're going to update your search. Now, I will tell you what is going to happen, guys, is that you are going to find that sometimes, even though you click house, you may still see results for an apartment. You still might see that because there are some people who post apartments on here, but they want people who are looking for a house to look at that apartment because they kind of want to get people to change their mind and things. So be aware of what you're looking for. And if you see an apartment listing on here, don't get too frustrated. It's just based off the kind of terms that someone put under their posting. Okay. Now, as you guys can see, there's a lot of options here of houses. Here's a nice house here. It is for 1,600. It says Newark, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, huge garage, granite, stainless steel, stainless, sorry, and it's located in Wentzville. Okay. Let's go ahead and click through the pictures here. Now it is for 1,600. When it says 1,600 / 3 bedrooms, and it says 1,450 square feet, or 1,450 square feet, I want to break that down. So 1,600 is how much you're going to be paying to rent this house. Okay. That's how much you're going to be paying a month to rent this house. Okay. 3 bedroom. It's a 3 bedroom house, and then the house, the amount of square footage is 1,450 square feet. Okay. And you notice in the title here, it says, boast about the 3 bedroom, 2 baths, huge garage. Of course, there's granite, and then there's stainless there. Most likely stainless appliances. Okay. And it talks about the location or the city. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look through the pictures here so we can see what it looks like. Okay, I was thinking it was going to make it bigger. Let's see if it makes it bigger. Okay, great. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, let me make sure I'm still recording with you guys. Awesome. Okay, so look at this house. It's very beautiful. For those of you who are thinking about renting a house, this might be the most desirable house for you. But you have to think about your circumstances. If you're somebody and you're you're young and you're like 18 or in your 20s and you're looking for a house, this might be desirable for you because you're thinking, oh, I want my first house to be new. I want it to look like this. But I will tell you that you have to make sure that you're going to have enough money to be able to afford this kind of house. And when it says 1600 a month, I do want to emphasize that you will have to pay 1600 a month for this house, but for a house you will have to make sure that you make at least 3 times the rent. That is something I found when it came to renting an apartment. um, and also through some of the housing listings I saw is that you have to make at least 3 times the rent. So let's bring up the calculator to see how much that is. Okay, so here we go. 1600, 3 times that, bam, that's $4,800. So you have to have this much money as income in order to be able to get this house right here. Okay, so you have to make $4,800 to be able to get this kind of house right here. Okay, so I just want to kind of emphasize that. A lot of people out there that may be talking in renting videos, they may not specify that you have to make 3 times the rent, but that is the typical standard. That's something I found with looking for apartments to rent and houses to rent. My first apartment, me and my fiance lucked up because they wanted us to make at least 2.5 times the rent, which was great because we actually met that amount of income. But typically, if you're going to be getting an apartment or a house, you will have to make 3 times the rent. So I want to emphasize that for you guys. I can't emphasize that enough because if it's your first time renting or something, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond, you need to know that you need to have an income that is at least 3 times the rent. Okay, have to make sure of that. So that's why I'm nailing in there for you guys because I did not know that when I was looking for my first place, and I never heard it in high school or from any adults that I knew or anything like that or any friends. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at this house here that is 1600 a month. Okay, so I'll just click through the pictures here. Oh wow, look at that nice big kitchen. You have that. Looks like you have nice wide kitchen. There's an island here with some really cool lights here. Some ceiling lights. Looks like a vaulted kind of ceiling. I think a vaulted ceiling is kind of like diagonal or something like that. Got that nice dishwasher. Lot of like counter space and stuff. This looks like it'll be really great for somebody that likes to cook. It's also great for somebody if they have a lot of people in the house and things like that, that'll be coming through the kitchen. Okay, and then here's the other side of the kitchen. I guess they want to show you that like they may have like some kind of deck outside or patio area. Here's a bit of carpet. I guess they're kind of trying to show you from afar what it looks like. But actually, it doesn't look as big from this picture here um, as I thought it was. So who knows? This picture actually brings perspective because this is gigantic, right? Makes it look huge, but this kind of makes it look smaller. This is why I say it's really important for you to go and actually tour a house just to see what it really looks like because people can Photoshop pictures and make them look any kind of way. So you don't just want to, express interest in a place and apply for it based off of what pictures look like. You actually want to go there and see it in person. Here is the carpet area. I guess this is like some kind of open space. I'm not sure if this is like a living room area or not. Looks like some people have kind of been walking around through here. Maybe some people recently moved out. This might be a bedroom. I'm not sure. One of the things I wish that they would have done is they at least would have had like a little note or maybe some kind of like writing that says bedroom, at least here, like first bedroom, second bedroom, or third bedroom, at least something so you know. This looks like a closet. They're trying to show you there's like area to store things. Oh, here's a bathroom. Okay, so it's nice bathroom. I wish the picture was a bit bigger. I like the shower and the sink area. Toilet's kind of average. This looks like kind of a really like kind of upscale shower. Oh, that's really nice. So you got like a slide that door, and there's like a tiny little closet right there. This is another side of a room. I'm not sure if this is the same room or another room that's there. Okay, so I guess this is a small room. So maybe this is the same room, just from different angles, I guess. Here's a bathroom. Now, I'm not sure if this is like just a common bathroom or not. This looks similar to the other bathroom, except this bathroom looks like it's a little bit more basic. Maybe this is like a shared bathroom that's there. The other bathroom, let me go back for you guys to see. This other bathroom, this is probably more of the master bedroom here because of the shower. Rather than like your basic. So basic bathroom, master bathroom. But I would expect a master bathroom to also have a tub as well with it. So, and I don't see that in there. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. Oop, oops, sorry. Let me go back. See, if you click off the picture, it makes you like, lose where you were. Okay. Here's a washer and dryer hookup. This is what this is. This is for like a washer, and that's probably like for a dryer. You can probably put like a washer here and like a stackable dryer that like that's like a dryer that's like here. Or maybe you can have like a small washer here and then a dryer on top of it. But a lot of washers you typically are front like top loaders. You open up the lid and you put stuff in. So you kind of have to figure out like your options for um, yeah, like a washer and dryer. Here's your basement. Looks like it's insulated because it's got that pink insulation here. Looks pretty dry here in the basement. Um, Hopefully they have a little bit more. In my opinion, I would prefer that you have one area of your basement that's unfinished and the other side is finished, just in case you have people who want to come and see you, and you can have like an area for somebody to kind of live in the basement area. Okay, and I guess this is the garage here. And then here's, I guess this is the patio. That's upstairs. So, guys, here's the thing about this house I will say that's for rent. I wish they actually had an actual video to kind of show you what it really looks like those 3D tours, so you can kind of see like the full view of the rooms, because these pictures don't really do a great job of selling this house very much. I mean, showing the kitchen is good. It's a good selling point. And then like showing the patio is good, but it really doesn't emphasize for the rooms. It doesn't really show you like what's the master bathroom. The only way I knew what the master bathroom is that you have the shower. But in my opinion, a master bathroom should have a shower and a bathtub. Okay. And then the other rooms, like the two small rooms, I wish I would have had like a 3D view of that. That would be kind of something I would tell somebody they're going to be like listing a rental like this. Definitely have a 3D video, or at least some kind of YouTube video that people can go to kind of see the 3D of the house. So you kind of get your house sold, especially for somebody. Let's say somebody is moving to the city where you have your rental at, and they want to see what it looks like, and they can't get there right away, like due to what's happening right now with the COVID-19 thing. Then at least a 3D tour would be great. The pictures, in a way, could be misleading because it doesn't show some of the areas that you may want to see. And there's some things that are kind of left out, and you're kind of left to guess that. Okay, so yeah, that's this house, the 1600. Okay. Another thing I would tell you guys to do is definitely look at the paragraph of writing that they have to kind of illustrate the house. See if there's any information that they share with you that kind of lets you know more information. So I'll just read this description here. So it says this newer 3-bedroom, 2-bath home has every upgrade you can imagine. They include vaulted ceilings, rounded corners, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, maple cabinets with soft close, ceramic tile, in kitchen, laundry, baths, central island, custom neutral, colored paint job throughout, framed windows, taller baseboards, adult sized cabinets in bathrooms with marble countertops, walk in closets, upgrade carriage doors on an oversized two car garage with openers, brick mailboxes, 6 panel doors, upgrade water, flashlight fixtures throughout the house. Okay. But with all the things that they said, that still is not enough to sell me on this place at all because there's some things that they don't explain. And I think the only way you can get it explained is if you go and tour this place. Now, it is helpful that they did tell you that you can have cats in the house and dogs in the house by saying cats are okay, per, dogs are okay, woof. And then house, and then wash and dryer hookups in attached garage. But I really feel like they should have. I know they're trying to illustrate and sell this place for somebody to rent, but I feel like it's kind of lacking because it doesn't talk about some of the things you don't see, you know. So I think what really would elevate this rental here and get people to look into it would be to have a 3D video. But they just posted this about 5 hours ago, so I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is just go back here, um, making sure it still has my search results, has image, and then house. Let's make sure. I want to make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure that Craigslist didn't fill this in, just so that I can see it. Okay. So I'm just showing you guys here. Okay. All right. So you still have other rentals. I just picked this house out here. But typically, what you want to do is you want to filter based off the kind of house you want. It's good to know if you want to have a pet or not, if you want your rental to be furnished, whether you care if it's no smoking or not, wheelchair accessible or not, whether you want to pay an application fee, like no application fee or no broker fee or something. Okay. So as you guys can see, here's houses on Craigslist here. I think in the houses you can type a term and maybe it'll just show something specific. Okay. So as you can see, there's houses of different prices. This house is $795. This is $800. This is $850. There's your $1,550, $1,400, $900, and things. And here, as I showed you, you see this right here, guys. This says a townhouse. Okay. And if you're looking for a house as opposed to a townhouse is kind of like you still be in an apartment. And if you don't want something like an apartment, then a townhouse is more likely not for you. That's what I mean, that you'll still have those kind of apartment results. And then you see this, it says beautiful apartment available now. We said we were looking for a house, not in a beautiful apartment. We want a specific house. Okay. Let's take a look at this listing. Okay, guys, I want you to take a look at this. You see this? I don't know if this is really hard for you to see or not. Let's zoom in here so we can see this. Okay, let's zoom in because I want you guys to definitely see this. Let me zoom back out. Okay, do you, oh my goodness, what's going on? Okay, do you guys see this right here? You see this house? It's kind of a bad picture. Let's take a look, okay. Okay, you guys see this house right here? I'm sorry, you see this building right here, not house. Oop, go back. You see this right here? This looks like this is an apartment. Remember, we said we're looking for a house, not an apartment. But yet they want to show you results for an apartment. Now let's see if we can verify that this is an apartment. So it says house for rent. Okay. But what I'm seeing is this an apartment. So let's see if we can find out if this is a house or an apartment. So let's see. So let's look from the pictures to see if this is house or apartment. Just having a little fun here. So let's look. Okay, they show you the side windows, they show you the back, they show you this room. We're kind of flipping through the pictures here. So who knows, this might be a house, I don't know. Okay. Looks like it might be an old house, possibly. Hmm. Okay. From the outside, it just looks like an apartment, and that doesn't seem like something I'd be interested in. Okay, so let's see. It says it's a house for rent. Let's see. Okay, look at this, guys. I want you to look at this right here. It says this entire house is being rented. This entire house is being rented with the exception of one bedroom, the blue room. So, guys, girls, if you hear that they're renting out the entire place, but one place is left by itself, I would be thinking, okay, who's going to be living in that blue bedroom? Who's going to be living there? Okay. And I would question it because if even if you get 3 bedrooms, 3 baths for this house, but you're missing a bedroom, okay? If you're missing that, right, then that makes me wonder if your landlord that you're renting from is going to be living with you. And for some people, that's not very comfortable for somebody else to be living in there and stuff. Okay. Now, this kind of makes me think that this particular house, it makes me think that the rooms in this house were individually rented out to different people. And that's why somebody still is residing in that blue bedroom, is because different people were renting out the rooms. And that's what was going on. Okay. So just watch out for that kind of stuff. Okay. Be aware of that. Okay. I'm not gonna read through all this. Let's see if I can find that blue bedroom real quick. Where's the blue bedroom? I guess this is what they're talking about. Okay, that's the bathroom. So I guess this is the room they're um talking about. Where is the blue bedroom? Oh my goodness, I don't even know where the blue bedroom is. Okay, I guess this is the blue bedroom. I guess they're talking about. So I guess somebody else lives there. I guess. The good thing is that with this house, at least they tell you that there's no smoking, there's off-street parking, and it's furnished. At least they tell you that. But you may or may not be cool with moving into a place that has furniture because who knows who's stuck on that furniture, you know? So, yeah. But this house looks like it's available. It looks like it's in a city called University City, Missouri. This house is $1,950 a month, 3 bedrooms, 2,140 square feet, which is a lot more than that other place. Okay, a lot more. So yeah, Craigslist is a place you can kind of go and look at some different rentals and stuff. You may find some options where there's like rent to own options for places and stuff here too. So yeah. Um, hmm. Let's see. Um, as you guys can see, there's other like things on here. I would just say when you're looking on Craigslist, just be cautious. Now, I want to go back to one of the rentals we looked at, or we can even use this rental. Let's use this rental right here. So this is a house for $800 a month, 3 bedrooms. Remember what I said that you have to make 3 times the rent. I assume you have to make 3 times the rent for this place. So let's get out that calculator one more time here, just so you know. So the calculator, okay, so it's 800. So 800 times 3, $2,400 is how much you have to make a month in order to get this place. but it's located in Edwardsville, Illinois, and it was posted 4 days ago. Based off the amount of days, you don't know how many people have been looking into this place. There might be somebody that put an application in on this place if it's been on here for a few days. So that's something to think about as well. It's good they say cats and dogs are okay. That seems like it's kind of the standard here, and it's good they say it's available. But even if they say it's available, that doesn't mean somebody else has not expressed interest in putting an application on this house. Okay. Now, guys, here's something I want you to notice. Watch out for something like this. You see this? This house right here, and I'm glad I came across this and chose this house for you guys. This one house listing. Notice, guys, when you go to click the picture, there's only one picture. Only one picture. There's not multiple pictures where you can see the different rooms. They only show you one view of the front. So I would say I would bypass a listing like this if you cannot see all the rooms in pictures, because you never know if somebody's posting a scam out there. And who knows if they're trying to lure people to this particular place. Now, I'm not saying they're trying to do that, but if it's only one picture and they're not showing anything else, that either means the person who posted is super lazy, or that means that this could be a scam and you should just bypass this completely. Okay? So I'm glad this came up here. I'm so glad it came up. And you can also find this happening on Zillow as well. Okay? So this is kind of me just showing you that. Now, if you decided that you wanted to express interest, so let's go back to one of the other places that we looked at. Let's go back to one of the places we looked at. That other place was so pretty, but let's go back to this one. So if you wanted to express interest in this house that was posted 5 hours ago, if you want to express interest, the way you do it is you go to reply. I'm waiting. And then sometimes it's not going to give you a contact name up here, but you notice that this time it shows the name. So the person's name is Blake. And then to get their phone number to show, you have to click that button that was there for phone number or contact, and then it'll show you how to reply. You reply by email. My advice is if you want to express interest in a house for rent, call. Don't leave an email, because who knows if this person checks their email? They may not. Okay? And you don't want to be beat out by somebody who's going to call this person. So definitely call this person. Ask them if this is available, so you can let them know you're interested and set up a time to come and view this house as soon as you can. Okay? Now, due to the COVID right now, that may not be an option to do that. But something the owner might do is they might have a 3D video for you to take a look at. Okay? And hopefully this house will be available once the epidemic kind of goes away for us. Okay? All right. So that's how you look for a rental on Craigslist. And I want you guys to know that even though you see a beautiful house like this and think this is your ideal, that may not necessarily be what you end up with. More likely than not, you may end up with a house that you end up renting that it may look something, not trying to shoot you guys' dreams here, but the house you may get that you actually rent may look like this, or it might look like this. Okay? So, if you're thinking about renting a place that's, a house in your area, the nice looking places, definitely know that those are going to be snatched up real fast. And also, just notice that there's different prices here as well on houses, okay? Okay. I said I was going to show you guys Zillow, and I can show you Zillow as well so you guys can get a visual of that. Most of you guys may be familiar with Zillow as a place to look for a house, so we'll kind of go into Zillow here. So we're going to close this out. All right. So Zillow's a little bit different if you're going to be looking for a house to rent, okay? So let's go ahead and look here for Zillow. So with Zillow, one of the things you're going to want to do um, is that you're going to have to know the neighborhood you want to live in if you want to find a house on Zillow. So I'm just going to pick I'm just going to type in a city here. This is a city that I live in. This is a reference. Just know with Zillow, you have to either plug in a city, a state, like here, or zip code. And be sure to make sure you choose the right city and state. Don't just plug in the city and think that's going to give you a result. Definitely choose the right city and state where you're looking for a place. So this is where I live in. This is where I live at, which is St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm going to choose this as an area. Okay. Now you notice Zillow automatically went to for rent, but when you first come in here, and I'm going to close this out just so you can see it here. I'm going to close it out and show here. Let's go to Zillow. Let's go to Zillow again. Okay, when you go to Zillow here and you type in where you're trying to look for a place, let's do it again. I hope it pops it up again. Okay, so you're gonna go and you know St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, Zillow didn't do what I wanted to do, but because I looked at Zillow earlier. But when you first like after you type in the city and then the state that you want to look for a place at, and you click search. The next thing Zillow does is it's gonna pop up a screen that says, "Do you want to look for a place to rent or a place that is for sale?" So that's the screen that's gonna pop up. Okay, just so you can see. Okay. Now it's on the option for rent is an option, but Zillow also has the option of showing you listings for if you want to go to for sale. And you click done, then it's going to show you all the listings for sale in St. Louis, Missouri, which is 890 results here. But since we're looking for homes for rent, we're going to click for rent. Now, as I told you, that you're going to see that Zillow is going to do a Craigslist, and even though you're looking for a house, it still can have unfiltered results. So what you want to do here, okay, like you see this here, most likely this is an apartment, which I'm going to click here and see. Oh, this is an apartment. It's a, oh yes, it's a, wow, it's a, I don't know if this is like, I'm not sure. I guess this is maybe these are homes here. Okay, so there's different units. Okay, so you have a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom units here. So looks like either a church or a school or something. Kind of bizarre that they have this. Just trying to make sure I'm still recording. I'm recording? Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of bizarre. But this is not a house. As I said, it's showing apartments. Okay, here. So Zillow has unfiltered results here. Don't expect it just to show only houses. Like I said, it's gonna pop in some apartments there, and some townhomes and stuff. Here's an advertisement for an apartment, as you can see. You know, you can tell because this listing says the Barton, St. Louis, pet friendly fitness center, watch dry in unit, rent starting at 1,690. That's definitely an apartment. It definitely is because it's talking about a fitness center, and that's usually a resource associated with like an apartment. Okay, so yeah, and let's click on it to see. Look at that, the Barton. Here we go. Scroll down. Apartments for rent in St. Louis, Missouri. Perfectly centered, perfectly you. See what I mean? See what I mean, guys? What I mean is that you're going to have some things where they show apartments even when you're looking for a house. So this is something I really want to show. Okay, but with Zillow, when you're looking for a house, you just have to make sure you filter it here. So The difference here from Craigslist is that it has a shorter option of home types, because people think of homes as different types of places. Some people look at a condo as a home, some look at apartment as a home, some people look at a townhome as a home. But ideally, in this case, the home we're looking for is going to be a house. Okay. When you think of a home as a place where you can be yourself at and be happy at. My opinion, apartment is not that kind of place for you to be. It's just not. So to make sure you're looking for houses in particular, you're gonna uncheck condos and co-ops, apartments and townhomes. You're gonna uncheck those. You're gonna click done. Now you're gonna notice that's gonna reduce the amount of options for a house, but that's good because you don't want to go through all those listings and be bombarded with apartments. Okay. So here we go. Oh, look at it here. There's an ad for an apartment again. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. How do we know it's an apartment? We know it's an apartment because it's showing right here. It says, are you tired of high rise living? If so, then you will find exactly what you're looking for at West End Terrace. We are located in the middle of everything, yet far away from it all. When you come to West End Terrace Apartments, you will find garden style living on beautiful landscapes with the convenience of being within walking distance from shops and restaurants after a long day at work. And then it even says, in your apartments. Guys, you're looking for a house to rent, not an apartment. So I just want you to be aware of that, okay? We're going to be done with Zillow soon here. But I just kind of want to show you how to filter. Another thing about filtering with Zillow is that you can choose like the square footage. You can choose places based off if you got a large dog, small dog, allow cats, the amenities, city, park, water, mountain area. You can even filter by the amount of days a property's been on Zillow. Okay. I'm going to show you a house. I'm going to filter by what I was looking for just so we can see if we can find it here. So when I was looking for a house and then I think I went by bedrooms. So it's not more. Here we go. Bed and bath. So here's how you filter for bed and baths in Zillow. So I chose 2+ bedrooms, and I think I just did 1+ bathroom. So a house with 2 bedrooms. And then it should update your search with the type of bedrooms because you can see here that Zillow should only show you homes that have like 2 or more bedrooms and 1 or more bathroom or something like that. So it should do that. But Zillow will show you homes that have more bedrooms than what you're looking for and things like that. So it will show you things like that. Now, here's the thing, guys. Another thing we're going to talk about soon here is that with Zillow, the good thing is you can filter by the price based off of the minimum amount and maximum amount of rent that you want to look for. Okay. I'm going to show you what happens if you're going to look for a place that's $200. Let's say, I'm just being funny, but let's say you want to look for a place that's between $200 and $600. You're going to notice that you don't get very many results. You only get this house for $365. But my thing is, if you find a house that cheap for rent, I would literally think that I would tell you right here that this might not be a house in the best area based off of what the house looks like. And also, you notice that it only has 2 pictures, which is kind of sketchy to me. So I don't know. But you notice there's people who've expressed interest. The good thing about Zillow is that it actually shows you how many days, like Craigslist, how long a house has been on out there. But it also shows you the amount of people who've expressed interest. And 52 people have expressed interest in this place based off of 2 pictures. Okay. Now, the crazy thing is, it says Here's an opportunity for you to pay less rent than local rent with the added benefit of home ownership. No banks, no credit, low down payment of $2,000, 365 monthly payments, dollar monthly payments plus taxes and insurance. Sale price $35,149. This property is being offered on an owner franchise 20-year contract for a deed with no balloon payment or payment penalty. In order for you to qualify, you must have verifiable income greater than 4 times the monthly payment and a clean rental history for starters. Okay. Um, Now it says property sold as is, conditioned to serious buyers who inspect the property thoroughly. So one thing about this place I would say is this is probably not necessarily a place to rent as much as this is a property for somebody to buy as a fixer upper, and here it is right here. Fixer upper for somebody to buy really cheap. And then, you know, then turn around and then rent it out to somebody else. So this is kind of misleading here. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show you that there as well. So price does play a factor in the kind of house that you're going to find here. Now there are results for houses for rent down here for $550 a month here to $559 a month. This looks like this has a video here. It has some really great, cool pictures here as well. Um, so that's kind of cool that they actually have this, and they have like a walkthrough here as well for this house, which is really cool. At least they kind of have that. You see this, guys? This is really cool how they showed like this video for this house is $595 a month. And the amount of square footage is amazing for a place as well. I think this is kind of cool here how they show you like they show you the kitchen and things, and they show you like the rooms, and they show you like going in one room and things, and the bathroom and the shower and things like that. I think this is really kind of cool how they like show this like video and things like that. I think that's really cool. I think it's only fair for me to let you guys like see the whole video of the walkthrough here, just so that you kind of know um, what a walkthrough video could look like and stuff. So I'm just like gonna kind of just let you guys kind of look at it without like talking and stuff. Guys, I'm still here. I'm just kind of just letting you kind of take a look at the inside of this place. Looks like they have a finished basement here. I have to say something. Oh my gosh, guys, that basement had a unfinished area, finished area. That looks really cool. Great backyard. Oh my goodness. This looks amazing. It looks really cool. But look here, it says rent to own. Save money and become a home buyer. And then they talk about how what your landlord knows that you don't. By owning, you save $500 every month compared to renting after deductions, down payment, sell price. Must meet these requirements. Credit score of 620, FICO score or 580 for veterans. Okay, so Zillow. Zillow is going to tell you the type of credit score that you're going to need in order to be able to get a house. Okay, so like I was telling you guys, you do need to have a certain credit score. So with this particular credit score, you need a 620 credit score. Okay, FICO score. Now, I've heard that it's hard for you to know your FICO score, and most people don't know their FICO score. The only way you kind of find this out is like if you actually like um, like reach out to credit bureaus to see if they can tell you what your actual FICO score is and stuff. There's a lot that goes into credit scores and stuff. I'm not really an expert on it. I'm like building my credit up and everything, but um, I can tell you that I'm making my way with my credit and things and stuff. So I'm making progress um, in the area, but the thing for me with um, this rental is this looks great, but I don't know about buying a house like a rent to own thing. I think it's better to have something that's straightforward. Whether where you're just renting a place, not like renting to own or something like that. I think that's a lot more complicated than just renting a place where you just like apply and then you get approved and you like pay your rent. But there's a lot of people that are interested. Great thing about Zillow, it tells you the amount of days listed, like Craigslist. Um, and then the unique thing about Zillow is it tells you how many contacts. So how many contacts stands for the amount of people that have expressed interest in this particular place. So it's going to be pretty hard to get into this place. And if it's 251 people saw this and they wanted it, and then you see there's applications on here, 8 applications. That means that there's a lot of competition for this house. So my advice, guys, is if you see there's applications on a house for rent and you see there's already an application, my advice is to move on and then try to find a place that doesn't have any applications. Some people might say go for the house even if a house has one application on it, but I would say try to find a place that doesn't have an application on it. But you could try it. You could definitely try applying for a house that has an application. Um, the house I am renting right now, I came to look for it. Nobody had put in an application for the house that I came to look at. It wasn't my ideal house. I actually had a plan for renting another house. Okay. But what I can tell you is by the time I applied for the house, then after I put in my application with me, my fiance's information on it, I found out that somebody else had put in an application. Luckily, me and my fiance got it, which was awesome. So yeah, there's still the opportunity to definitely be able to apply for a house, even if there's an application on it. But hey, timing's everything. So if you find a house you want to rent, definitely get in and try to find a place. Now I'll show you something. With a house, I would say if you're going to do anything, look for a house. I would say start off if you're going to be looking to rent a house. Look for houses between I would say $600 and $1,000. The reason why I say $600 to $1,000 max is because that is typically where you're gonna see more results for houses within this range. Now you could find a house between 700 and 1,000, but typically I found that in my experience, this is like the area of where houses are. And so you kind of want to look in this range, but you want to make sure you can afford a house in this range. That means that you have to make sure you make 3 times whatever the rent is for that house. So just like this house right here is $950, you have to make 3 times that rent for their to be able to rent that place. So you have to have $950 times that magical 3 a month. So you have to have an income of at least 2,850. And that either means that you make that by yourself if you're going to be renting the place only on your own, or you can, you and your significant other, if you have one, or if you're renting a house with your sibling, make sure you guys both come together and um, you're able to make up that income amount so you can at least be able to afford that particular type of property. Okay. All right, so just hang on here for a second, guys. I'm going to keep going here in a minute. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and keep going here. I just got briefly interrupted for a second. All right, so as I said, make sure you make 3 times the rent here. And as you can see here, with this particular this particular home, I think this is the house here. You have to make sure you can afford this house. So it's not just $950 a month that the landlord's going to consider. They're going to want to make sure you can definitely afford the house, and they want to make sure that you know with without a shadow of a doubt that you make 3 times the rent so you can afford the place. So I just want to make sure you guys are hip to it. A good thing on Zillow is to make sure you read the description so that you can see what's involved in the house. And also definitely be looking for if you have to have a specific credit score. I have found that you have to have at least a 600 credit score in order to be able to get a house. That's very important for you guys to know if you're going to be trying to rent a house and stuff. Even if they don't say it, they will want you to have at least a 600 credit score. Okay. So definitely be aware of that, okay? Okay. So I think I've showed you guys kind of enough of Zillow about how it works and things, like how you can find rentals in your area. You guys can play around with, the price of the rental, how many bedrooms, the type of house, type of home type you're looking for and all that. So you can definitely play around with that and stuff. And like I told you with Zillow, you could choose from for rent homes to for sale homes and stuff like that. We changed it there, so it's definitely a bit different. Okay, you can even choose from places that sold and stuff, so you can see that as well. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's go back to our handy dandy Word document here. Okay, so I showed you guys where to look to find homes for rent, and I kind of walked you through how to kind of filter your results between Craigslist and Zillow. I know I spent a lot of time, but for somebody who's new to it, they really may want somebody to kind of hold their hand and show them like how to do it. If you guys have any questions about that, you can definitely comment below, and I can kind of answer questions about like Craigslist or Zillow in terms of like if you're looking for a place and stuff. If you want to know more information or have any questions for me about like what I did when I was looking for a house and stuff. So you can definitely um, comment below and I'll answer your questions and address your comments if you have any. Okay. All right. So I showed you where to look. Okay. Let's remember you can look for a house for rent on Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, driving around a neighborhood, or you can look on under rental sites. You can ask people in your family if they know any places for rent for houses, or you can ask friends or acquaintances at work and stuff. So you can ask people, and stuff. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the other aspect here of how to find a house for rent. Let's talk about the aspect of know where you want to live, the city or zip code. The reason why I say this is before you can even think about trying to find a house anywhere, you need to know where you want to live. So if you know you want to live in a specific city, then you want to, like if you're looking on Zillow or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or any other sites, you want to make sure you look for rentals in that particular city so you can find them. Okay. Another thing is you may want to set alerts on websites so you can see the results for the type of housing type you're looking for to pop up during your search for a house for rent. So you might want to do that. But knowing the location you want to be in is important. Okay. Now, you can also look, in a broad area. Like I live in St. Louis because St. Louis is a big area, but there's a lot of cities in St. Louis. Even though St. Louis is a city, it's a big city, and there's a lot of other cities in it. So when I was looking for a place, I was looking at different cities that I thought would be desirable to live in. And then I finally settled on a particular city inside of the city where I'm at. And then that's how I kind of narrowed down where I wanted to live. And in a particular city that you want to live in, there might be a lot of options for houses to rent, or there might be a small amount. That's why I say you want to set alerts, just so you can, when a house pops up in that area and it has that right price that you're looking for, then you want to make a move on it and set up a time and a date to look at that house. Okay. And it's also good if you have a significant other, then it's really good for you if you guys are going to be moving in together. It's good for you guys to both go so you can make sure both of you guys, if you're going to be moving in together, then you know that the house is what you guys both are looking for. Okay? Zip code. You can also look for a house by zip code. I'm going to show you here on Zillow real quick. So with Zillow, what you can do, I'm just going to type in a zip code here. So I typed in a zip code. Zillow said there was no matches for a home in that zip code. And then it just brought up some other results because at least it's trying to show me something. So for rent, there's not any options in the zip code I typed in St. Louis, but there might be some options for sale. So let's see if there is. Ooh, looky here. There is options for homes for sale, but not necessarily some for rent. Okay. So this helps you get perspective on the zip code as well. And you can kind of go between whether, the for sale area and see that in the desirable neighborhood, there's a lot more houses for sale rather than rent. And if you see a lot of houses for sale, that can be good or bad. That can mean that that can mean that the people that have houses there, maybe they don't like the neighborhood very much, or maybe the people who live there, maybe they're expanding their families. So that's why they're leaving because they want to get a bigger house somewhere else. So that might be the case. I mean, with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, this person may be married, they may have kids, and the lady is pregnant. She might have, you know, 2 kids already and be pregnant with a third baby, and she might be thinking that she wants to move to a bigger house with 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms. So that's maybe why and stuff. But yes, there can be good things about houses being for sale in an area, and there being a lot of them because there's choices. But like I said, if you're going to buy a house, there's a lot involved in that. And in this video, I'm not really trying to address too much of that. But it's good to know what the area, to know if there's more houses for sale versus if there are more houses to rent in an area, like you guys see here. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and go back. Let's go back to our handy dandy Word document. So there's another thing you want to know. In addition to knowing where you want to live, like the specific area, you also want to know how much you want to pay for rent. So everybody has a different amount of income that they make, okay? And your income that you make is going to determine what you can afford, okay? So if you want to get a house, like I said, you're going to want to make sure that you can afford a house that is between, let's say, $750 a month all the way up to 1,000. I'm not going to say you need to make $1,000 a month necessary for rent payment, but you just need to know that that's the window of how much houses can cost. Now, in your area, it might be different than my area. That's the scale for housing prices in my area. But your area, the housing prices might be different. I mean, in your area, houses may start off at 500 and then go up to 1,000. So, when you look at the houses throughout the areas, you start to get a scale for how much houses cost, okay? And I would rather say that it's better for you to go for a house that's a bit more expensive than a house that's cheaper, because a house that's cheaper, is cheaper, it might not be in the kind of area you want to be in. It might be in a rundown area. So you want to make sure you find yourself in a good area. Now, the price of rent may not necessarily dictate the area though. I found that out by my apartment that I had. So I lived in a great area. The amount of rent I paid was like $695 a month for an apartment, but the thing was the neighbors were the issue. And because the neighbors were loud, bougie, and crazy, even though it was in a great area, it can make you feel like it's a joke to pay your rent because you're just experiencing so much ridiculousness with loud people. And that might make you think that if you're having an unpleasant experience in an apartment, that it should be worth a lot less. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to say that. Remember, with paying rent, no matter how much the house is going to be that you're going to rent a month, okay? Remember, you're going to have to be able to have an income level where you can pay for 3 times the rent, because that's what the landlord is going to be looking for you to pay, just so they can make sure that no matter what, you're going to be able to make your rent payment. Because not only are you going to be paying for rent, you're also going to be paying for bills as well. Okay. And I'm going to go into the utilities here too. So, for a house, like for the example of the house that I live in now, the utilities that you can have in a house can be gas, electric, sewer, water. Okay. And then I'm trying to think, I pay for internet, and then I don't pay for trash or anything. That's free. Okay. But you know, for some people, they may also have the utility that they may have to pay for homeowners. You know, like renters insurance, not necessarily homeowners insurance, but they may have to pay rental insurance for a house, and they may also have to pay for AC. Okay. And also with a house, you also want to check and make sure that when it comes to maintenance, that your landlord is covering it and you're not. Because if you have to pay out of pocket for maintenance, then maybe that's not the right house for you. Because maintenance costs for things can be a lot. That's why you want to make sure your landlord is covering the maintenance and stuff. You know, because there's life's expensive. There's a lot of things you got to pay for. And it's always good to have a good understanding of what you're going to be paying for in utilities. You typically find this out once you get the application for the house you want to rent when you're trying to apply for it. So definitely kind of look at the application and see. If the application doesn't say anything, definitely ask that landlord, the type of bills you'll be paying. Okay? All right. Now, let's also go to the next thing. So we're here. So we've already covered where to look. So I'm going to highlight this. So we covered where to look, know where you want to live. I was supposed to be highlighting this, but I didn't do that. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Awesome. Okay. And know how much you want to pay for rent. And then know the type of house you want to live in. So that's where we're at. Okay. I say that you want to know the type of house you want to live in, because some people have a specific type of idea of the type of house they want to live in. There's different types of houses out there. Okay. Let's try to Google and see the type of houses out there, just so you guys know what I mean. Types of houses. Okay, so it says there's 35 different types of houses. So let's just look at this picture. Let's look at something easy. Let's see if we can get something easy. Let's see if we get a big blow up, okay? So don't worry about that. Oh my goodness. I wanted a better picture. I'm close out of this because I wanted something that actually told you guys what kind of house it was. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. My gosh, where is it? Okay, they really messed this up. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm really sorry about that. Um, where in the heck? Okay, yeah, that's not what I mean. That's really not what I mean. I was not talking about that. Trying to see. I'm just doing this stuff sporadically. Um, no, that's not what I mean at all. Okay, man, I was really hoping that they just have something simple. They don't. Frivolous. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, this is good. This actually tells what I'm talking about. Okay. So it says this article's good. I'm glad somebody talks about it. Okay. So you guys can go to this website too if you want to. It tells you the types of houses that are out there. You can go to this website. It says nimbo.com slash the hyphen 10 hyphen most hyphen popular hyphen types hyphen of hyphen houses hyphen in hyphen the hyphen united lowercase hyphen states and then slash. Okay. So you guys can all go to this website if you want to as well. Or you can just type in if you want to. You can type in the 10 most popular types of houses in the United States. Okay. So here you go. This is a pretty house. So let's see what kind of housing types there are. Okay. So it says homes come in such a wide variety of styles that it's what makes them so interesting to look at and dream about. It's the American dream to own your own home. And choosing the perfect home can include choosing the perfect style for you and your family. Some of the styles of homes date back centuries old, and although many of the characteristics of a style of home may stay true to itself, a lot of the inside features are updated to fit today's technology and standard of living. You will see as you read below, there are some favorite styles that have remained at the top of the list of popularity of home buyers. So keep reading to see the top 10 most popular types of houses in the United States today. So that's what I kind of expect here. I don't know who that guy is. Okay, so here we go. Here is a ranch house. I'm going to try to make this a bit bigger so you guys can see. You. See? Ooh, pretty. Okay. So here you go, guys. Here's a ranch house here. It's beautiful. Here's a ranch house. Looks like there's a 3-car garage. Looks pretty cool. It says ranch style homes are extremely popular and are considered a great style of home for anyone, especially families. So that's the ranch house. I didn't read the whole paragraph because I'm kind of trying to be brief here. Here we go. 2, bungalow or craftsman. Guys, just a short tip, I live in a bungalow right now, so you guys may end up renting a bungalow. It's not something I planned on. I didn't really know the house type until like after I moved in, so it's kind of cool and stuff. So you guys might find yourself in a craftsman or bungalow house. Let's see. Craftsman houses, which I also call a bungalow, focus on the use of natural materials, include stone, wood, and brick. My house doesn't have brick. Okay. I guess this is, yeah, I don't know if this is also a picture of a bungalow or not. Okay, this house right here, this is a Cape Cod house. So this is a Cape Cod house. I don't want you guys to get confused. Cape Cod house. Let's get past that advertisement. Cape Cod. Cape Cod homes originated in the 1600s and were crafted using Britain's thatched roof designed through the Cape Cod boasts steeper roofs and larger chimneys due to the harsher winter elements in the northeastern areas. Fascinating. I think this advertisement is so annoying. I mean, I know it's for HGTV, but it's annoying. Okay, guys, so let me go ahead and keep going forward here. So what I also want to do is I want to also explain for you guys that I want to go through this as well for a Victorian home, okay? So this is a Victorian house. It says the Victorian style home. So here's the Victorian house here. Don't pay attention to the advertisement. Here's a Victorian house. This is pretty immaculate. It looks pretty new to me when I think about Victorian, but wow, that's really cool looking. So Victorian. So the Victorian style home hails from the era of Queen Victoria during the era of 1830 to 1910. This is a regal looking style of home and was built more out of its look as opposed to its functionality of the home. Looks pretty cool to me. Oh, it's known as a Victorian house. It's known as a doll house. That's kind of cool. Here's the contemporary house here as well. Contemporary. Contemporary and modern are often interchangeable in use in this style of house. Typically, contemporary is a word used for homes that are built with a look of today's building styles and use energy efficient materials and products. So this is pretty awesome house. I mean, if you guys can get this house for like $750 a month for rent, that's a deal right there for a contemporary house. That's pretty cool, I think. Here's a colonial house. Um, colonial. So colonial homes are some of the most beautiful in architecture. Colonial homes span back to the 1600s and are often associated with early American settlers. The colonial style of home is most often recognized with windows and shutters that are equally spanned across the face of the house. A lot of windows to clean. Here is a English Tudor house. Let's see. Okay, so English Tudor. It says, here we go. As you probably guessed, the English style home comes from England and is a beautiful style of home that is best known for its multi gabled roofs and steep roofs, but it is probably the decorative half timber framing that makes an English Tudor stand out the most. Has a little bit more about it, but you guys can read that if you want. Um, log home. So that's a pretty cool house. That's awesome. Little log home. That's awesome. Log homes originated as little cabins and typically were built as one room structures using no nails in their construction. However, they've evolved quite a bit over the years. This is pretty awesome. This is probably a house like you can kind of vacation to. I think this is pretty cool. I mean, if you can find this house in the middle of the woods, you know what I mean, then hey, you can rent this thing for cheap. Wow, just wow, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for vacation, I think. Okay, this is a Mediterranean home. Okay, so just want to take a minute to look at that. That's very wow. Just looks very rich to me. It's very wow. The Mediterranean style home derived from the old um, hacienda style from the Mediterranean countries, and the characteristics are typically the same from home to home. Many Mediterranean houses boast red tiled roofs and have plastered surfaces. It also talks about you're also going to see arches in this home as well for this Mediterranean home. It seems like somebody that's like really wealthy or a celebrity or somebody like that's like really into art kind of live here. Finally, we're going to get to the 10th house type, which is a tiny home. So tiny homes, probably for somebody that's more of a minimalist, I think, that doesn't have a lot of stuff. All right, tiny homes have really boomed over the past recent years and were crafted for people who decided to adopt a minimalist type of lifestyle. They can be constructed of a number of different materials and range in square footage. Many are seen in 300 to 600 square feet range. Due to their small size, amenities will vary from kitchen appliances to the type of bathroom facilities installed in the tiny home. Storage space is often created in unusual places, and if your lifestyle is one that is on the go, get your tiny home designed on wheels so you don't have to stay put in one place. So I think that's cool. So if you guys want to check out this article about these types of homes, you definitely can. You can go on Google and then you just search for the 10 most popular types of houses in the United States. And it's on nimbo.com. Okay. If you guys want me to, what I can go ahead and do is comment the link below for you guys if you are having a hard time finding this article. Okay. All right. So let's go back to our handy dandy Word document here. Okay. Next area we're going to talk about is you want to know if you're looking for a house to rent, you want to know how many bedrooms you want. And an easy way to do this is to base this off how many people will be living with you. If you're somebody where it's just going to be like you and your significant other and you want to rent a house, then you guys can probably rent a house that has one bedroom. But if you guys want to have more room to walk around in, you may want a house that has two bedrooms. Or if you're really into it, you may want to get a three-bedroom house or something like that. If you want to rent out the other two bedrooms and then have a room for you and your significant other, but you just have to be that kind of person where, you're comfortable with other people living with you. Now, if you guys can afford to rent a place with three bedrooms, with your incomes and you don't need anybody else to stay with you, then by all means, just go for it. But I do want to just let you know that, knowing how many bedrooms you want can help you narrow down the type of, narrow down and find the kind of house that's right for you guys and stuff. Now, there's still the option of whether you want a new house or old house. Most people prefer newer houses, but I would say, be prepared to um, find a market of homes where homes are older. Okay, even if they look new, they might be old. If a house is new, then you may spend more to rent that place than if it were older place. Okay, so I just want to say that too. So yeah, base the amount of bedrooms you're looking for a place, base it off how many people are going to live with you. Okay, if it's a family of four, then for a family of four, then more likely than not, you may need to have a four-bedroom house. If it's just, two people living in a house, I mean, you can get a four-bedroom house if your income allows it. But again, remember the three times the rent thing too. But, I would say getting a house that's right for the amount of people that's going to be in a house is a smart move. Just so that you don't find yourself looking at houses that have way more space than you need. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going here. All right. Our next topic we're going to talk about is the types of landlords you will find. So the way I know about landlords for rentals is that, like I told you guys, I don't even know if I said it because we did this video a few times here, but I have been in two apartments, and I lived in one apartment for 6 years, 3 months, the other one for 9 months. So for a total of 7 years, I lived in apartments, and then I recently moved into a house. And I've experienced different types of landlords. Okay, so for a house, for my search on Zillow, it hasn't been too different. You still see there's different types of landlords. Most commonly, when you're on Zillow and you're looking for a rental, you're going to find yourself seeing landlords that are basically property management companies. These are basically companies that manage multiple properties, whether apartments or houses. And like if you have to, your landlord would be that particular company. So when I rented my first apartment, me and my fiance, we rented from a apartment management company, property company. And if we ever had any issues with our apartment, we would go to them and they would be our landlord. And there was like an office of people and things. There was one person in charge, but by and large, other people were there that we could kind of talk to. The thing about a property management company is that at least, they're going to have things online. They may be up to date more so with accepting online payments for rent and things, and have a team of people to do maintenance for you so people can come out and things. Doesn't mean they're always going to be on top of their game to do stuff, but At least they'll keep record of things a lot more thoroughly if they're a property management company, from my opinion. So, yeah. And then another type of landlord that you'll find on Zillow, which is not very common, but on Zillow, what you will find is that you can find listings for rentals for houses from independent landlords. Now, with these type of listings, I will tell you that it might be hard to reach that particular landlord because this landlord may have a life to themselves and a family and other obligations. And so their top priority might not necessarily be renting out that rental. It might be their life first and then other things. The other thing is if it's an independent landlord or person, regular folk that's renting out a place, then you never know if that landlord already has somebody handpicked to rent that place, or somebody, who's come to them already before looking for a place when they didn't have anything available. So you definitely have to kind of watch out for that. Some landlords may have a rental that they may give to someone in their family, specifically like if it's a young adult in their family and they're graduating from high school or going into college or whatnot, or they just got married and graduated from college, then they may give a rental to that young adult in their family, rather than someone who is not related to them. So I just want you to know that could be a possibility to look out for. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but it could. Okay. And an independent landlord, they could be nice, or they could be a slumlord, somebody just that's just there to collect your money but not do anything for you. I've had that experience in my second apartment, and I can tell you guys about that experience if you want me to kind of talk about that as well. Another thing about an independent landlord, they may not be knowledgeable about what they're doing and all that, with respect to the type of rental they have, whether it's apartment or house, and they might be new to it. That's kind of an opportunity for you. If you are new to renting and stuff, to work with somebody that's kind of not a knowledgeable landlord, because they might let something slide about you that they wouldn't otherwise do if they were like more of an expert in the game with having rental property for like a house or apartment. And then also landlords that you might find for houses for rent or realtors. So you might have a realtor that can either they can be the landlord, or it could be something where this realtor could be they could be somebody that is representing the landlord, because the landlord might live out of state, but then that realtor is like that go-to person that you go to, when you have issues and stuff in a way. So that could be an option. That's something I'm familiar with because that's kind of what's going on with the house that I have right now, where my landlord lives out of state, but then we have a realtor that serves as kind of somebody local that knows the area and is there to kind of help us out and stuff. So we talked about that. Okay, we're almost done here, guys. We've got a little bit to talk about. Okay, so you guys might be asking, how do you express interest in a house? So on Craigslist, I showed you how to express interest in a home for rent. And I guess I'll just go back and show you one more time, just so you can see how to express interest. Let's go back to it again. Image, housing type, house. They search. Okay. Okay, if you wanted to express interest in this house, the $600 a month, okay, then the way you'd express interest, we're going to see, click the reply button right here on Craigslist. And then the only way you can contact this person is that you send them an email. Now, if you send this person an email, they may or may not get back to you, and you might be waiting days on end, and you might not get any response. Another thing is, depending on how long it's been listed, this house may have already been rented, and the landlord just may have forgot to take it down. So you have to be careful with that. I knew somebody who was looking for a car, It was actually my fiance. I found a car on Craigslist, and we thought it'd be great for him to buy. And he contacted the guy that had the car that we were kind of interested to come and take a look at. And then my fiance called the guy only to find out that the guy already sold the car and he just forgot to take the listing down. So with Craigslist, there can be some opportunities for you to miss some stuff. So I would say if you're going for a listing for a house, rent, definitely go for a listing that has a phone number, and be aggressive if it's a house that you really kind of want to get, and if you just see email, I would just say kind of bypass it. If it's been 10 days, I would just say the house might not be available anymore, especially based off how cheap this house is. It's $600 a month, 2 bedroom. So, yeah. So this is how you express interest. Like I said, you may or may not get a response back from the landlord who who is selling this house. And the fact here, it doesn't say the name of the person, so I would kind of be concerned about that if I were you. So how do you express interest on Zillow? So if you want to express interest on Zillow, for example, I'm just going to pick another zip code. See if I can find a house. Right, nope. Let me see if I can find another one. That's another zip code I know of. Okay, let's just use this house for example. Okay, so this house has been listed for 1 day. 25 people have been in contact. The house is 790 square feet. It's $1,000 a month. Okay, so how would you express interest on this house? How would you do it? Okay, so you express interest for a house on Zillow. What you do is you request a tour. And then what it's going to say here is going to ask you, when do you want to take the tour? So do you want to do it today on April 11th? Or do you want to do it tomorrow on April 12th? And if you drop it down, it shows you the days where they're going to be doing tours for this house. So you can choose one of these days here, okay? My advice is if you want to tour a house, the best time to tour a house would be on the weekend. That way, at least on a Saturday, you can see what the areas like on the weekend and things. And hopefully you won't have to go to work. I'd say choose a time you definitely won't have to go to work and stuff. And definitely give yourself time when you're touring a house for rent as well. You'll also notice you're going to have to put your first and last name, your phone number, your email address. What will happen is that Zillow is going to send you a message to your email box as a reminder, and that reminder may tell you like the landlord's information and things like that, and give you feedback about like when your tour is and stuff like that. So you want to definitely put that in as well. You want to put your first and last name so they know you're a real person. Okay. Another thing here too, the good thing is it shows the person's first and last name. For this listing, the person's name is Kevin Wilbanks, and the phone number here you see 314-728-2708. The good thing is at least you have the person's phone number. Even if you have the person's phone number, though, I wouldn't tell you to just go and call that person's number just out of the blue. Be respectful. I would say try to give the person a call in the morning, or see if you can text the person first before you call them to see if it's good. It's good manners to text the person and say, hey, I'm interested in a house that you have on Zillow. Is it okay if I give you a call about it? Because you never know what's going on with that person, and you don't want to call that person, late at night if they're like busy with their family or doing other things. So it's always good to have, some type of courtesy. If you want to and you're adamant, you can call, but if the person's mad on the other end when you call them, then you might lose on a house. So just kind of telling you there. But you can always call them in the morning, I'd say. I think that's respectful. Call them around a respectable time, like, maybe like 12 or 1 o'clock, in the afternoon. I think that's an okay time, But you never know if they're going to be at, work or something. So texting, I think, is good first to do. And also with texting, you'll see if they get back to you. If they don't text back, maybe they're not text savvy. So if you call them, that might be better as well. But if you text and then you call and they don't get back to you, I would say move on to the next house. Okay. Like I said, you can read the descriptions for a house and stuff too. And a good thing to look for is how long the lease term is for a home. Like this one has 6 to 18 months. And also it tells you what kind of deposit they're going to look for. And if you have to have a certain credit score, if you have to pay for a background check and things like that. So it's always good to take a look at some stuff. And also in Zillow, it has the response time, how long it takes somebody to respond back. Good thing here is maybe you could do this ask a question thing here first and respond here, and then they'll respond to your question. So that might be good to do before you give them a call as well, if you just have like a quick question that they can answer. If they never get back to you, that's never a good sign, whether through texting or a phone call or anything. If they never get back to you, move on to something else. Don't waste your time, especially if you're looking to get out of a place. Okay. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about is make sure you have a list of questions ready. So when you go and you walk through into our house, then you have some kind of conversation to have with the landlord. One of the things that I think is a really good question to ask when you're going to tour a house is ask if the person that's there at the house, ask if they're the landlord. You want to know if they're the landlord, because if they're the landlord, they're probably going to be a lot more knowledgeable about the house and things like that, and they can tell you when they first bought it, type of maintenance they've done, any kind of like upgrades and stuff. They can tell you about the neighborhood, different things like that. But the person that might be showing the house may not be the landlord, and they just might be somebody that shows the house and doesn't know anything about it. And you want to know that up ahead. One of the things you want to do is you want to find out who the landlord is, find their information. If you're really interested, after you walk through and things, you want to express interest as soon as possible. I didn't do that with the house that I'm in now. I kind of gave it a few days. But, when I thought about it and how fast houses move, I was like, you know what, I want to express my interest as soon as possible. And also, the apartment I was in was not a good fit for me or my fiance. So I was like, you know what, let's go and take a snowball's chance in hell and see if we can get it. And we did. So, there's questions like you want to ask. If you guys want me to tell you other questions that you can ask when you're looking at a house, I can definitely provide you with some questions to ask about the house you're looking into. You can come up with your own questions, but if you can't come up with anything, I can kind of supply you guys with some questions. It took me some time to come up with questions, but I think when you have questions to ask somebody that is showing the house, or like when you get to the landlord, then it shows you're more intelligent, you're more serious about a house rather than being somebody who walks through and you don't say anything and they don't think you're serious and they just think that you're just there to window shop rather than to really rent the place. And sometimes the person who's showing the house, whether they're a realtor or landlord, they may underestimate you and they may think you're immature. But when you come in there with those questions, if you look young and you have your questions, then they might take you more seriously with, you having questions and stuff. If they get annoyed and they don't want to hear what you have to say, with your questions and stuff like that, take note of that, move on to another house where somebody will be willing to answer your questions. Because if somebody is annoyed and don't want to answer your questions, they're not serious about renting you the place. Okay? So definitely comment below if you guys want me to give you guys a list of questions that you should ask when you walk through a house. I think it's really important to have that so that you look more serious when it comes to renting a house for the first time. All right. Finally, I'm going to give you guys a brief explanation of the rental process for renting a house from my own experience. So, from my experience, in order to get the house that I and my fiance now rent, what we had to do is after we did a tour of the house, so I found the house that I now live in. I found it on Zillow. So I know some of you guys were interested, but yes, I found it on Zillow. I found it in the desired area that we wanted to be in. I knew the amount of bedrooms that I wanted in the house, which happens to be 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And I kind of had the kind of logistics. There were some things that I did want in the house that I don't have. So I did want a dishwasher. We don't have that, but we're making it either way. Great thing is I think we have a washer and dryer, which I think we're really doing good with that because at least we don't have to go back and forth to a laundromat. We can handle like stomaching the dishes, with the sink we have. The dishwasher would be awesome, but it wasn't a necessity. It's kind of an extra thing. Maybe when we like buy a house, that might be something we strive for in buying a house, having everything. But renting a house, I think starting off, you should just kind of have an open mind for what you're looking for, and don't expect to rent a brand new house when you're first starting out. Okay. One thing I will recommend if you're going to be trying to rent a house, before you even start looking to rent a house, start building your credit first. Start doing that first because it's going to make it a lot easier. At least make sure that your credit score is above 600 before you start looking. Okay. You want to do that because it's going to make it a lot easier. Because when you come and look at a house, you may have the person who's showing the house and they may ask you what your credit score is because they're trying to screen people. I found that when I was looking into houses around my area, I found that a lot of the people that contacted me wasn't very often, but I found that as a means to screen you, they'll send you emails and they will ask you things like how many people are going to live in the house, what's your monthly income, because they're looking for you to make 3 times the rent, so they're really serious. Okay. And then they're also going to ask you your credit score. Okay. And you have to realize they're going to do that because sometimes you have people that are trying to screen people because they're trying to get to that cream. They're trying to get to those people that are actually desirable for what they're looking for. Okay. But with some houses are not based off of credits. Some houses they don't look at your credit as much as they look at your income. But no, they may take your income and credit in consideration. That's why you want to go and ask those questions because if you're looking for a house and you don't have good credit, and then you go and you talk to the person and they say they're basing it hugely off credit, your credit isn't good, then you might want to try to go find something else better for you. Okay, that might be looking more so for income rather than credit. Okay, you want to look for a house for rent where the people are willing to work with you with what you got, rather than having people who are like looking for all these things for you to fulfill, and you kind of get lost in everything and easily get kicked out of it because you don't meet every single solitary thing. Okay, so I just want to emphasize that you may have landlords that are trying to screen you out before you even get to walk in the door. It's the same way with a car these days. My fiance found this out that when he went to a car dealership for Toyota, he was going to look at a Toyota Corolla because he was interested in buying a car, and so he's still interested in buying a Toyota Corolla. But either way, he went to the dealership and he thought that he can just go and test drive a Corolla, new one, right? And what happened is that he didn't even get a chance to do that because they were so hell bent on the credit score that he didn't even get a chance to even get in and drive it. Okay, so credit is something that matters. If you don't have any, it's a good time to build it. So you make sure you have the credit score you need to do stuff like buying, like buying a house or renting a car, or renting a house, or doing whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. I've even heard that your credit score matters to a job, but I would say take that with a grain of salt because with jobs, I don't think your credit score should matter. I think your amount of experience should matter and you wanting to do the job matter. opposed to like, your credit score, which has nothing to do with that. Of course, your work history should substantiate you getting a job, but your credit shouldn't to me. Okay. So let's see what else was the process as well. So you express interest in a house. You go tour a house, and I would say don't just tour one place and be sold in that one place. Tour other places. Okay. Tour other places that are houses that you're interested in. When you tour a house, definitely do a video of the house so you remember what it looks like. So when you're trying to decide between houses, you have a video of each so you can reference back to the specific house that you want to choose between and what it looked like on the inside. Because if you look at so many houses, they can start to look the same after a while. So you at least want to kind of be able to differentiate them so you can choose the right kind of house for you. Definitely on your phone, have enough storage space so you can keep the videos. Okay. And then have a computer where you can put them on so you can look at the videos when you feel like it. Especially if the videos are going to eat up your data and stuff like that, or in your phone and everything, storage space. So yeah. All right. So let's see. Another thing after touring, you got your video of the houses and stuff. Next thing is you're going to pick the house that you want to apply for. Okay. It's up to you how many houses you apply for. I will say that when you apply for a house, you are going to have to put a lot of information on the application for the house to rent. You will have to put your employment information. You're going to have to put out information about where you previously lived. The application is going to ask you for a rental reference. And if you have a bad, not a bad relationship, but if you have a relationship where your landlord is a slumlord and you're trying to move to another place and they have to give you a reference and things, and you're trying to decide whether or not to put them down as a reference, then you really have to weigh, like you have to weigh in the consequence of whether that's going to be in favor of you getting the place or not. That's why I said you need to have somebody that's going to work with you. Where with the landlord, you can ask, hey, if I don't have the best reference for from my previous apartment, is that going to deem me on getting the place? And they may say yes or no. With some places for houses I've looked at where I wanted to apply for, they did say that if your landlord is not able to give a rental reference, then you probably shouldn't even apply for that house because you're not going to get it. So that's something else to think about as well when it comes to rental applications. That you have to know that you got to put down all your information. You will have to put down the amount of income you make, as well as your significant other if they're moving in with you. You will have to probably undergo a background check as part of the application process, which would be $40 per person. If you're married, I think it's like $30 or something. Don't quote me. And then you have to get your application. You have to do the background check and all that. And then you kind of just have to wait for approval and things and see if they accept you or not. There are some places where, like, if you're trying to get a house, a landlord may have multiple applications and they might just be trying to pick the best person based off of money that they can get as opposed to how good of a person you are. Okay. So you have to bear that in mind too. Like I'm saying, read the rental application and be aware of what it says so you know. And I would say don't just stay nailed down to one place. Look at other places, and if you have to, I would say apply to more than one place so at least you get one of them rather than just being sold in this one and you get denied for it. Okay. So that's kind of just my little bit about the rental process. Oh, yeah. And also, one of the things too is if you're applying for a house, you may have to put down your security deposit as a part of the application process, in addition to like the application fee and the fee for the background check. So you may have to do all of that as well. Your security deposit may be your month of rent, like 1 month of rent, or it could be more than that. I've seen situations with listings where I looked at and they said that you have to put down, like, you got to put down a deposit of like, I think they said like 2.5 times the rent or something. I remember like they were saying like a security deposit was like $1,250 or something. And that was like, I guess like 2.5 times the rent or whatever. And I was like, wow, it's quite a deposit, you know, to put down when I would think a security deposit should only be 1 month. So that's why I say definitely read through the descriptions to see if they gonna have like some slick shit on there where they're gonna say you gotta put down this big deposit. I haven't seen this one listing for a house where there was this landlord that said you had to put down a deposit of like $700 for a non-refundable fee, and he didn't even say what it was for. And as you probably know, I skipped that house. I was just like, for what? I'm not doing that, you know. And that wasn't even a security deposit. That was in addition to it. And he was talking about it was like for management and stuff, and I was like, no. Mm-mm. So yeah, definitely watch out for these, what it says in these descriptions for these particular like rentals and things like that. Okay. So that's all I really have to say on how to find a house for rent. I went very thorough in this video, probably more than what you'll see in other YouTube videos, because I'm basing it off of actual information that you're not really going to find on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, you might find some videos. It's like 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 10 minutes, you know, of information, maybe a little longer, where they kind of make it brief or something about how to find a house for rent. But me, I want to be as detailed and as real with y'all as possible because I want y'all to know what I've learned so you can actually find yourself being able to get approved to rent a house rather than getting disqualified because you didn't have the information because the YouTube videos and the resources you looked at didn't give you that opportunity. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick here and see if I have YouTube up anymore. Um, I'm gonna go to YouTube real quick just to show y'all. Okay. Then I'm ready in this video. Okay, so it says how to find a house for rent. Okay, so here you go. When you look at results for how to find a house for rent on YouTube, you see rent a house or apartment in 3 easy steps. This video is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You can tell that that video is really not going to really be anything that's going to help you at all. Okay. And it says great home buying, selling, investing tips. That really doesn't do much for you. This says this video, best real estate app 2018 for finding a home. That's pretty cool to show you for renting apps, maybe for a house, I guess, just so you kind of know. This I've never heard of some of these things like Home Snap and I think Realtor.com I've heard of and things, but that might be good for you to look into. Easy ways to find a cheap apartment in your area that has nothing to do with how to find a house for rent. So I think that's not really relevant to what you're looking for if you're trying to rent a house. Finding cheap houses. This looks like I don't know if this is a video about. Let me see what this is about.
All people are tax people. You can How to find cheap houses, off-market properties where you can add value and start to own those as buy and hold real estate investors. That's today's show.
Okay, so as you guys saw what he said, this is about real estate investing. It's not about you being able to rent a house to live in. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about like with the YouTube here. They're not really talking about renting a house from the perspective of you actually trying to find a actual place. They're not talking about that. They're not being real about it. they're more so talking to landlords on YouTube in terms of like finding real estate property to rent to people like you. You know what I mean? So it's not really helpful. You'll find like landlords on here saying rental process mistakes you're making. Um, let's see.
How's it going, everyone? Matt Layton, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about rental application mistakes.
Okay, so that might be good if you look into like rental property mistakes and stuff. That might be pretty good for you to look into there. How to easily find rent to own homes. Again, that's probably not what you're looking for. How to rent a home from $389 a month. Like I said, sounds kind of sketchy. Buy, rent. This guy, he's pretty legit. He's like a landlord. I've watched some of his video for Graham Stephan. I've watched some of his videos and stuff. But I would tell you guys, if you're trying to find out whether or not you should rent or buy a house, my advice, I'm gonna show you this book that I read, which helped me to determine whether or not to rent or buy a house. So I'm gonna just show you this book that I bought, that I read mostly through, but it put my fiance to sleep. There we go. So here's the book. I'm gonna go on Amazon here. Oh, it even has a Kindle edition. You go back here. It has a Kindle edition for the book, which is called Rent versus Own. So here's a book that let's go into the book real quick. Here's a book that I read called Rent versus Own. It says a real estate reality check for navigating booms, busts, and bad advice by Jane Hodges. This book was really good for me. It really helped me get perspective about what I wanted to do at this point in my life. I mean, I was in an apartment I didn't like. I was trying to find a way to get out for me and my fiance. And this book really put me in perspective and helped me determine that as opposed to buying a house, like I heard from other people, it was better for me to rent a house first to kind of get used to it and see what it would be like first. And then in the future, then I should buy a house once I had like better credit and things like that. And I liked it because in this book, it really breaks down things. So even if you think you're sold on owning a house, it really outlays the steps you're going to go through and things with buying a house. And it even talks to you about some of the things that may get you um, rejected from buying a house and result in you renting a house first and things. And it talks about the difference between some people who are team own versus team rent, where some people will know they want to own, and that's where they want to go. But then it talks about people who've gone through the experience of trying to go and buy a house and then the experiences that happened to them. Some people ended up with houses, which was great. Some people didn't. And it also talks about some people who rented and then they find themselves with buying a house. It has like different things. And the thing I really liked about Jane Hodges' book is she talked about the fact that when you get into a house, then you'll have different utilities than what you would have if you were renting. And for people in an apartment, my apartment people who are watching this video right now, in a house, you're gonna have more utilities to pay for. So at the apartment that I had recently, that I left, um, in that apartment, it was an all electric apartment. So basically, that was the utility that was paid for. I didn't have to pay gas, which was awesome. And then we paid for internet, pay for cell phones, food, rent, and then let me think. There's anything else we paid for? I don't think we really paid for anything else. I think we had extra money to kind of do whatever we wanted to do and stuff. I would say you definitely want to have extra money if you're in an apartment because you might have people who are loud and obnoxious and stuff. You might live in a great area and everything, but you may want to get away from your neighbors and stuff because they're stomping above your head or they're stalking you or walking past you and things like that. Devoting way too much attention to you and just getting on your nerves to the point you want to move. Having extra money is good because you may want to get you a hotel, but at a hotel you may have an experience where you still there. You might not have people that are quiet either. So it's probably best for you if you want to do anything. You might want to put your time into trying to get a house. My advice, if you want to rent a house, you definitely want to start saving up for a house. So devote a portion of your paycheck and then save that up in the bank so that you'll at least have enough for, let's say, like a security deposit or something for a house. At least you have that walking in and you look better. Like if you're going to look for a house and you say to the person showing the house, oh, well, I have money saved, for a house and everything right now, so, if I get approved, then I can put down this much money. You look a lot better that way than if you come in and you ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that can really have the landlord look towards you if you had the money versus if you don't have the money. You know what I'm saying? Because you may have somebody else that might have great credit, everything, but they ain't got the money put down. But if you ain't got, say you ain't got good credit, but you got the money to put down, that might make it so that they looking at you rather than that other person. You know what I'm saying? Whereas everything perfect except the money. So you want to tip the balance to you where you get a house that you want. But definitely recommend this book, Rent versus Own by Jane Hodges. It definitely is going to give you perspective. It's going to have a lot of different concepts in it. Has a lot of information. It can put you to sleep. But I will tell you this. If you're trying to get out of a bad situation, like an apartment, and you're trying to get out and you're in a bad lease where you were, somebody swindled you out of your money and they lied to you and things like that, and you want to know whether you need to buy or rent, you don't want to make the mistake of buying a house and getting into something you're not aware of. So you want to get into this. It can be a lot of heavy information. I would say if you're the type of person that you can't take a lot of information, hey, just read, maybe 5 pages a day. You know what I'm saying, of the book. And you may take you a slow time, but at least by the time you get through this book, at least you'll understand a lot more. And you may have to do research to learn about things, but Jane does a really great job of really making things seem a bit easy, even though there's like things that I didn't really understand, but it really gave me the idea that it helped me submit the fact that yes, I wanted to rent a house before buying because I was in the best position to rent rather than buying. In the future, I want to buy a house, but I think, like the book says, people who rent, they're more flexible and they can get up and leave as opposed to people who are buying houses stuck. You know what I'm saying? But everybody has a different opinion. And this book talks about it. It even talks about how, you'll have people who try to sell you on a house and things like that and tell you what you want to hear and things, but it's not really for your best interest. So there's other things like that. So definitely, if you want to get Jane Hodges' book, you can find it on Amazon here if you want to. I got it through eBay. I'm just gonna lastly show you eBay, the prices for this book if you want to check it out as well. Okay, as you guys can see, here's Jane Hodges' book right here. You can find it on eBay. Pretty cheap. That makes it look scary for a price, but you can actually find a book on here. My recommendation, if you guys want to just get the book without having to sit here and worry about shipping, you go on this side right here on the left side. You're on eBay. Under delivery options, you're going to click free shipping, and eBay is going to refresh, and then it's going to show you options, not this one, but like this option right here is going to show you that you can get this Rent versus Own book for $4.03, free shipping, free returns. But my books, I never return books. I usually look at eBay as a resource first because it's a cheap place to get books. And then you can kind of get the kind of information you're looking for here. I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed for all books, but at least some books. But see, you get it for $4.03, $5.05, $4.20. Book I got, it was like $4.20, I think, for the book I got. But uh, for you know, for this book is really great. This book, I think, this is just kind of trash. Not really a real book or anything like that. So for what you're looking for. Yeah, it's not really. All right, so here's the books. You guys can check it out on eBay. As you guys see, I found it here, so you guys can definitely check this out, okay? All right, so I really want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video has been about how to find a house for rent, I kind of went through a lot more than I thought I was going to talk about, but I feel like the more information you have, the better. So at least you can make the best decision for you. In this video, we talked about where to look when you're trying to find a house for rent. We talked about knowing where you want to live, knowing how much you want to pay for rent, knowing the type of house you want to live in, knowing how many bedrooms you want. I talked to you guys about the types of landlords that are out there when it comes to renting a house, how to express interest in the rental home, have your list of questions so when you go into our house, you can ask the questions you need to. And then next thing is I talked about a brief explanation of the rental process, and I also talked to you guys about this book, Rent versus Own, which is really helpful to help you decide on if you're in an apartment or whatnot, or if you live at home with your parents. It helps you decide whether you want to go out and buy a house or whether you want to rent a house. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys. If you have any comments or questions, comment them below for me. Thank you so much.